Is this working? We're hoping it's working. Can you hear me? Yeah, there we go, a little bit. Good evening. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Andrew Morgan. I direct this wonderful choir, and I teach here in the music department at Hendrix. And I'm so happy that you've come to join us here. I was mentioning to my students yesterday, this is my 9th year living in Arkansas, and one thing I've learned is that in the spring in Arkansas, either it is stunningly beautiful, amazing weather, or it's raining. And within the last 24 hours, we've had both. We had our dress rehearsal last night, and the students were out chalking the sidewalks, and then I woke up this morning, and it started to rain, and the rain has been with us most of the day. So, in spite of the weather, I'm so glad that you came out to join us tonight for an evening of choral music with these great students. Our program tonight is a set of kind of a various eclectic mix of love songs of different sorts. We started there with a piece from way back in the 1500s, Il est bel et bon, which in French means he is good and handsome. Which is a type of song called a Parisian chanson, which was a very, very popular genre of secular vocal music in Paris, as the name suggests, in the Renaissance. It is a take on two women discussing the merits of the husband of one of them, which includes things such as he feeds the chicken and he does the cleaning. She also mentions he doesn't hit me, which I guess might have been more of a normal aspect of a domestic relationship at that point. But then towards the end, as they're singing about the merits of a good marriage, they mention that because he's so busy doing the housework and feeding the chickens, that it allows her to take her pleasures, which one might presume might mean romantic activities outside of the marriage itself. And then towards the end there, you also heard them making the clucking sounds of chickens. So that was Il est bel et bon. Our next one, we're going to stay in the Renaissance, but only with the poetry. Love is a Sickness is a vocal jazz piece written by a California-based composer named Dale Trumbore. We've done a couple of her pieces here at Hendrix in the last few years. This piece, Love is a Sickness, another sort of humorous take on love, is based on English poetry from the time of Shakespeare by the poet Samuel Daniel, who has a great rhyming name, and I knew nothing about him prior to this semester, but he was a contemporary of Shakespeare's. He was a historian, a playwright, a poet. He wrote collections of sonnets and many other things. And as you hear this piece, you'll notice sort of this sarcastic take on love being a sickness that you can't shake, and that no matter how you try to make it get better, it never does, and it sort of is endless torment. And the jazz setting that Dale Trumbore sets for this piece, I think, is very, very fitting and funny, and we've had a nice time putting this one together. So we hope you enjoy Love is a Sickness.
Love is
Sometimes in these remarks, I think of things right on the spot. There's one of these coming up. So my kids at home love to play Uno. And if you play the card game Uno, you have to keep one thing in common when you go to the next card. Either the color is the same, or the number is the same, or the function of the card is the same. And we're kind of doing that a little bit in this program, right? We started in the Renaissance, and then we had a piece with Renaissance poetry, but it was jazz. And now we're going to do another piece that's sort of contemporary jazz, but with Shakespearean words. We're going to two movements from a great set, amazing set of pieces by George Shearing. George Shearing was a 20th century British jazz pianist. Our own pianist, Tim, is a big fan and played us examples of George's music in class. George wrote this set of songs and sonnets based on different works of Shakespeare's, but primarily taking poetry from the plays. And we have two movements from this set that we're going to be singing. The first one comes from As You Like It. It Was a Lover and His Lass. And then from there we'll move into Who is Sylvia from The Two Gentlemen of Verona, which is more of a slow ballad, while the first one is more of a leisurely taking a stroll on a lovely day kind of jazz tune. So we hope that you enjoy these two pieces by George Shearing from Songs and Sonnets.
It was a lover and his lass with a hay and a
welcome a guest to our stage now. We have Professor Linda Sue from the University of Central Arkansas, who will be joining us on violin for the next set of pieces. We're so happy to have you with us here. Composer Eric Whitacre, who wrote the next set of pieces, is probably the most well-known American choral music composer of the last 20, 25 years or so. He's in great demand and has a huge catalog of music that choirs are singing pretty much all the time. You're going to find a choir somewhere doing music of his. For a long time, he was married to a soprano named Hila Plitman, who was Israeli, and she wrote a set of poetry to serve as the text for love songs, and then he composed the music for it. He originally composed them as songs for soprano solo and piano for her to perform, and then based on the success of that set of songs, he arranged them for choir, and now it exists in different arrangements for women's choir and different arrangements for other instrumentations and such. And we are bringing you this set of the 5 Hebrew love songs. As I mentioned, her poetry is in Hebrew, so you'll be hearing that, but we have the text for you in English in the packet that was alongside the programs. So if you have that, we encourage you to follow along if you have enough light to do so. I'll just speak briefly about the 5 movements before we begin the set. The first movement, which has only sopranos and altos, is very contemplative, and it has a theme that's going to come back a few different times in the set. So you'll hear a couple little remarks in the piano and parts of the vocal line that will be familiar in later movements as well. The second movement is then an alternation between the tenors and the basses, doing another lyrical, slow, kind of contemplative theme, coupled with a very rousing dance that has changing time signatures that the sopranos and altos sing as well. The third movement is much like the first one in that it is slow and parallel, starts with sopranos and altos and then brings in the full chorus towards the end of the number. The fourth one, for me, is at least the most interesting of these, where the choir starts to make bell sounds using the syllable bong. And they're instructed to have one note that they do it, but then they get to choose how often they do that syllable bong. And so it creates sort of a ringing set of pitches that kind of creates this sort of static harmonic underpinning underneath whatever else is happening in the choir, be it the violin, the piano accompaniment, and then there's more melodic portions later on in the movement. And then it closes with sort of a subtle dance with melodies that are sort of reminiscent of Middle Eastern music. That's one thing you'll notice, that despite the poetry being Israeli, not a whole lot of it sounds like it is trying to capture sort of an Israeli sound or a Middle Eastern sound of music in terms of harmony and melody. You'll get that towards the end, though, in the final movement. So again, these are the 5 Hebrew love songs, and we hope you enjoy this set by Eric Whitacre. So we're going to stay in the 21st century, and we're going to fly up to Minnesota, that great cold land up north where I used to live, which happens to have a really thriving scene of lots of choirs, but also lots of fantastic composers. And one of them who's really, really vibrant and active today is composer Jocelyn Hagan. And she wrote the next piece that we're going to be singing, Needle and Thread. It's sort of a minimalist piece. It's quite brief, only a couple of minutes long, And it features a really beautiful poem that, if you notice in the packet that we have for you, the poet Amy Lovelace shaped it into a heart, and it's a nice little piece about people coming together. It doesn't specifically reference romantic love, but it does sort of suggest the idea of people being stronger when they come together. And this is a piece we started working on after I heard it just for the first time this spring at a choral music conference. And it's a really, really lovely, I think insightful little piece. And we hope you enjoy Needle and Thread. In each of our spring concerts, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to honor the seniors who are singing in their last performance with Hendrix Choir. It's a wonderful group of students this year who I've had the privilege of getting to know through a couple years of really turbulent times at Hendrix, and their commitment to choir and to sing at Hendrix and their steadfastness and presence in this program has been a real godsend. And I'm grateful to all of them for what they've brought. So I'd like to introduce each one and have them come down here, and we'll give them a group round of applause at the end. First up, we have Madison Conaway, who is also our choir president, I need to mention. Choir president, we have elected officers in the choir. Madison from Hot Springs, Arkansas. That's great, you can be right there. You can be right there, that's perfect. From Hot Springs, Arkansas, is a biochemistry and molecular bio major with a philosophy minor. She joined choir as a sophomore when I was away on my sabbatical, and I came back the next year, and there was Madison. So we've had, 2 years that we've overlapped in choir. I asked each of the students to mention something about their fondest memory, and she was really fond of the Candlelight Experience, which is our big Christmas program and tour that we do in December, which has been happening for about 60 years at Hendrix. Also I should mention that Madison is heading off to grad school at Tulane University in New Orleans. Great music scene, Madison. And she'll be working towards a master's in public health, studying AIDS and malaria prevention, which sounds awesome and fascinating. Next up, we have Quinn Gitchell coming down. Quinn from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Quinn is one of our music majors and a film minor. and I've been advising him on his thesis, which is about the history of video game music research, which is something I knew nothing about, and he writes about it very, very well. And Quinn is hoping to go into music production or composition, possibly kind of merging his interest in film. He's also a film minor with music and doing something in the film music business. Next up, we have Maggie Holland from Overland Park, Kansas. Maggie is a sociology and Spanish double major. She commented about how meaningful the friendships are that she has formed in choir, and that she'll miss the people and the community of singing with us here. She'll be heading off to Memphis for graduate school at the University of Memphis, where she will be getting a master's degree in social work. I should also mention that Maggie also does double duty as one of the media center staff here at Hendrix, and so whenever we have questions about sound or stage equipment or things like that, she is a very reliable person. Also, if I forget to turn in something that the media center needs, she reminds me, which is super, super useful, and I really, really appreciate that. We also have Ashley Junowitz coming down. Ashley from Lake St. Louis, Missouri, is a neuroscience major, minoring in data analytics. And her favorite memory was the time on one of those candlelight tours. We were at the mall in Little Rock, and some of the students wanted to go to the Build-A-Bear business, and I had no idea what they were talking about. And so they made me go with them, and I got to witness the creation of stuffed animals. And then that year, the students gave me one for a Christmas gift, which was awesome and funny, too, because they all knew what it was, and I did not. And then our last senior that we have coming down tonight is Elena Miller. I should mention that Elena is choir vice president. Elena was also voted by her peers as receiving our annual Hendrix Choir Student Recognition Award, which is given to a student who really embodies the ideals of participation in the choir and a dedication to the community and trying to help foster the best spirit within the ensemble that they possibly can. So thank you, Elena. Elena's from Kilgore, Texas, majoring in sociology with a minor in social justice, and she'll be moving to Colorado, I believe? Colorado, hopefully to do some social work with victims of abuse and neglect, which sounds like wonderful and meaningful work that is right up your alley, and I think that sounds wonderful for you. Elena mentioned that she is grateful to have made so many lifelong friends through singing and choir here at Hendrix. So can we just take a moment to thank the students for their contribution to choir at Hendrix? One thing that I like to mention about choir at Hendrix is that the students do this in addition to an already busy Hendrix academic workload. This is considered an extra class for them, and they give 3+ hours every week to meet with me after all their other labs and classes are done. It is a big time commitment that they've been doing now for many years in a row, and their commitment to the group means a whole lot to me. And I just want to say to all of you that when you leave here, your time singing in choir, I really hope is not done. Right? Keep being in choir. It's always going to be a meaningful community for you to be in wherever you end up. So I hope that you keep singing, and I hope that you stay in touch with us. So thank you all again. All can head back. Thank you. One other student I just want to take a second to recognize. We have a choral music scholarship at Hendrix, which is awarded to a current sophomore that they then receive the award through their junior and senior year. This was started by some of the alumni from the class of, I believe, 1974, who are still in touch, and they raise money, a very generous fund, to create this scholarship for a student who is dedicated to choral music at Hendrix. And this year's recipient is Daniela Guadarrama. So, bravo, Daniela. And we have a current recipient, because it's a 2-year award. I should also mention that Jonathan Qualls up in the bass section is last year's recipient. So it is great to have such dedicated students in choir. The last piece that we're going to sing for you is in Spanish. This is Te quiero, which means I love you in Spanish, but it is a beautiful kind of expression of love for one's people, love for a culture, love for your nation. Sort of a patriotic theme. This is a piece that has lots of people that we can credit. I just want to mention a little bit about each one. The melody, the music that you're going to hear is composed by an Argentinian songwriter named Alberto Favero. It was arranged for choir by another Latin American musician, I believe, maybe Venezuelan, named Liliana Canjano. And then all of this is set to words by a poet from Uruguay named Mario Benedetti. He was very, very good at writing poetry that captured, especially in the mid-20th century, the spirit of revolution and need for justice, which, especially when there was totalitarian states and authoritarian regimes in much of Latin America, he spoke about justice, he spoke about revolution. And so in the poem that you can read along with, it makes lots of references to I love you because of your belief in justice, I love because you walk hand in hand with us in the street. It's a really lovely piece, and it's very, very beautiful music. It features two of our soloists. We have Jonathan Qualls and Kaylee Jacobs singing in this piece. Then after that, we hope you have a wonderful evening. So thank you again for joining us, and may you have a wonderful spring, and hopefully with nicer weather than we've had tonight. So thank you again.